Hi, it is Robbie from Southern California. I have been working out here and strategizing, and I'm taking you with me because I did record it, and I recorded it kind of for myself, but now I think I'm going to share it with you because I want to see your thoughts on how we can use a dog kennel pretty much as it comes without doing too much of anything. I just took everything out. The wood that was in there, a couple things I didn't need, and now I'm deciding how many totes I'm going to set up in there. So far, if I go this way, it would be 3 in a comfortable way, but I could cram in 4. And you know what? I want to get as much out of this dog run just as it stands with an open top as possible. But I do want to see how many I could get that way if I turn it, which would make me a very narrow walkway. But do I need a big walkway? Especially if I decide to do, let's say, tomatoes. Then it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter that they're crammed. This is fantastic. Let me step out again. This is going to be fantastic because it's going to only be totes on the ground. And what we've got here is a vertical garden. So the tomatoes, let's say I'm going to do only tomatoes in here. I could throw in a pepper or two. But with the tomatoes, I'm right by the hose. So you want to have a water source. So if you don't have a hose, you put a bucket there with water. And it doesn't matter if they're crammed because you don't need a tomato cage. You can tie things up to hold them up and they go up. As far as keeping out critters, right now, I am only going to concentrate on things that may fly through here like squirrels or fuzzy little rodents like that. But I'm going to try something I haven't tried before. Yes, I use tulle all over the garden to keep out squirrels, but I may wrap it. Sometimes being so big like this, and if they think there's a lot of stuff in here and they want it, there's 2 different ways, of course, for them to get in. A squirrel can climb up, but will they bother? Will the tulle deter them? And if it doesn't on something this big, then later on I can just wrap 1/4-inch wire around it. But I think it's worth a try because certain fruits and vegetables attract certain critters more. And that's the direction I'm thinking. I have nothing to lose. I grow tomatoes out in the open. So we're going to try that here. Now it's just to determine how many totes I'm going to put in here. Everything on the ground, drainage on the bottom, and I want the drainage to go that way so it will water my bottle brush and of course my rosemary here. If the water goes that way, I'll be walking into the water. So we want the water to drain that way. And I can always see if it's not draining for any reason because I can get through there. And then this, I was going to move it, but there's soil in here, see. And I can use the soil as I fill these totes. We're going to start with weeds. Oh, I'll have to get rid of a lot of this. Oh, what is that? Seriously? A scorpion. All right, let's just put this back because I don't want to bother these guys. Right now, I'm not doing this. So let everybody be. They all live in a nice community. And let's just put that back for right now. And then later on, I'll just take a broom and sweep everybody out. So I will have roly-polies. Sometimes they don't bother crawling around the plastic. But see how I'm lining this up? If I do it this way, I'm going to step out. I am going to bang my head. I'm going to put a cushion up here. You'll see that later. So if I do bang my head, it won't be hard. I would be going in there kind of tight. But the only thing I'm going to do once everything grows is to groom it. I can have compost tea even in the corner there or anywhere, a little bucket, so I can feed my plants. It may not be bad to do it this way. I have so many of these totes. And I'm going to theme mine colorful. You don't have to. You could go black or any color you want because I am in the rainbow garden. And I think it just because. No particular reason. Color doesn't matter. So if I do it this way, I've got 1. You're going to theorize with me. Would have been good if I brought my good camera, but I did not. Okay. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I do line them up that way, I've got space. Oh, I've got space. Hold on, one more thing. If you're bored, you can leave. I can do it this way. It gives me a little bit more foot room to walk in. All right, so that's 1. So it was 5 that way, right? Remember 5 if I forget. 5. So that's 1, 2. Now we'll turn it this way. 3. Hold on. 4. Ooh. You know, I got it. All right, so we're gonna go 5 that way. I've got a space there. I could put something in a pot and strap it up and still use this, because this is valuable merchandise. This is your vertical garden. I could put buckets there. I could line both of them, but I think it's much easier, I have found, for me to have an aisle. So we're gonna go 5 totes across, and then there, I might put compost tea. That would be a good way of doing it. I could put another tote. Hold on. It's not gonna go this way. There you go. Hold on. 5, I can get 6 totes in here and still have room to work. All right, so I'm gonna bring 6 totes in. Let me step out. We're gonna squeeze the dickens out of this little dog kennel. This is the way they come. Then they come with the top, which I don't want the top. It's gonna be too dark. And we're gonna do it just this way. It will be 6 totes. Wow. I'll still have room. We'll see how tight it is to put a bucket, but I don't think I will. Maybe something small, but I can still put a compost tea bucket in there. I can leave it outside too, and just get a watering can and water as needed. All right, we're gonna go with 6 totes. I'm just gonna use the colors I've already got. So kind of mix and match what I have here. I don't wanna buy any more, because when I bought those, I catch these totes on sale. And there's a lot of times they put a lot of 6 on sale for like $30-something. So you get a whole bunch of them. And I think I've got a light blue left. I've got a dark blue. We'll mix and match the colors. You know, there are some colors I like much better than others just because they're appealing. But we're gonna go for doing something good in here, like growing a lot of food. And then I'm gonna go back there and pick all these weeds. Here we don't get a lot of weeds, but in the back where the chair garden is, I do. And that is where I'm gonna collect the weeds, put them on the bottom of all these totes, and then I'll go back into the bird garden back here, and I'll go collect some tree collards that are kind of drying up. There might be some fruit falling off that can go on the bottom. And we're gonna get 6 totes and everything on the ground, all vertical gardening, and we'll see what it turns out. I think it's gonna be really cool. This one is covered in 1/4-inch wire. Oh, I don't believe this. I just made another garden to take care of. Thought it was gonna make my life easier. You know what though? This could end up being an easy garden, because I'm just gonna do, I think I'm gonna go with tomatoes with maybe spotting and peppers, since I've got 100 peppers. This has got the 1/4-inch wire. This keeps a lot of stuff out, which is good, but that does cost money to buy the rolls and then work to put on. That one has 1/4-inch wire. Let's walk over here for a minute. And nothing bothers it, nothing. But it only goes up to here because that's the way the roll is. It's about 4 foot tall. That one Gary rolled over, so the entire building is shut down when it comes to critters, which is good. I can plant something very special in there and keep the critters out. This one, I'm not gonna do anything yet. I'm thinking of tulle. I'm gonna move this milkweed. I'm gonna move all that. That's not staying. This is strictly here right now. Oh, is that beautiful? Just because I'm digging them out of the ground, taking them out of the totes, and getting them in pots so I can move them wherever I want. I kind of will have this semi-open. Though I may leave those upside down planters there because they're already there, and maybe I'll have a watering can like I've got in there. Oh, this is gonna be cool. You're gonna come back and see how I'm gonna do this. The main thing right now is just to get the totes in there. I've gotta go through my totes and see what I've got. I got a stack. And I've got a blue one actually I'm not using. That one came out of that dog kennel. I might grab that one and look around my junk pile, see if there's other ones that I'm not using. The bright blue one is a bucket down there. You could do buckets, but I'm gonna tell you something. I plant in buckets because 5-gallon buckets are really nice and you can get them cheap. But buckets are what, $5? And a tote is $7. from Walmart. You can order them online. They ship them to you for free. Spend $35 and they ship them to you. I have found that the buckets with the swirling roots and stuff, they never seem to do quite as good as a tote. They kind of have room to spread their roots and really take off. You've got more room to grow much more in there. Even though I may tell you, just put one tomato plant in there, that doesn't stop you from layering to put in a pepper or to put in some walking onions or greens or brassicas, even a celery if you watch it, because celery has a big root system. There's a lot of other things that you may like that you want to grow with the tomato. Herbs, and you layer. You can't layer in a bucket. It's too tight, because what you don't want to do is cover the entire surface. You still need the airflow and freedom for the plants, you know, and the critters and microbes. You need to make sure the entire top isn't covered. So that's where the square totes like this, 18 gallons, works perfect. But a 5-gallon bucket is a little tight. And sometimes what can happen to a lot of your vegetables with a 5-gallon bucket is it will run out of space, and that just ends the life of it. It just kind of runs out of room to grow. And it's not a plant like you could do your, let's say, your finger lime that's over there. You can dig out half the soil, put in new soil, and the plant will rejuvenate and take off. No, because finger limes, which is a citrus, or anything that is a non-annual plant, you can do that because it'll regenerate new roots to grow. But if you did it with a vegetable plant that is an annual, by the time it would generate more roots to start taking off and growing, your season's over. So I have found the 18-gallon totes is really, I think it's the best way to go. All right, I'm gonna get this set up in the next few days. I'm gonna read your comments to see if you've got an idea that I missed, because, you know, I'm just doing this off the cuff. I literally don't even have my camera with me. I've got this other little thing, and I looked and I thought, I think I know what I want to do. This has been sitting dormant since he put this up last year. And we're done with having things sit, especially when I got totes and stuff around. Still can put buckets. Anyways, we're done here. Tell me what you think. And you know what? These things are so cheap. If you've got problems, this can really solve your problems. But it depends on what your problem is. If you got a dog and cat issue, your dog's not going to climb this. A cat might, but I don't even think a cat's going to try. What if they want to jump into something they don't know what's there? If you've got a rodent problem, then you do have to cover it with something, because rodents can fly through here, all kinds. Even a rabbit can squeeze in there. So you gotta have to analyze what your issue is. And if it is a rodent problem, you may want to go with 1/4 inch. 1/2 inch wire is okay, but mice can get through. 1/4 inch, nothing can get through, and you can wrap it, including the door. So we'll kind of see, but we're gonna do this one step at a time. Because if your issue is you have a yard and kids and the dog's getting everything, this is your answer. This is a dog kennel. If it's going to keep a dog in, it's going to keep a dog out. So let's take this one step at a time, and let's get rid of some of the issues some of us have, and see if we can do this as cheap as possible. Oh, it's going to be fun. So I need how many again? 6 totes. I wonder if I have 6 different colors. I don't know, those are what, 3, 4 years old? And I've got these stacked in the house because it's had them on sale. I bought a whole bunch. All right, we'll see what I've got, and we'll come back in the next few days. With that, have a wonderful day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. And boy, do we eat what we grow, and that is wonderful. Bye-bye.